Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So let's have a look. So, what do you want to go through today?
I don't know. I was just watching the demo from the APAC region a second ago. I myself don't really have anything fun to showcase, so I'm not sure. I'm working on trying to add charts for console and trying to add charts for nginx, and also trying to figure out what to do with logging for nginx. I've got a proposal out there that no one commented on yet, which was surprising.
I think that Graham sounded like he would have comments, but it was a little bit late in his day, I think, when I flagged that to him.
Yeah.
There have been a few incidents that might have distracted Jarv. I think the comment,
of course,
always. I think Graham's kind of initial aha was that this will mean a lot of additional logs.
Yeah.
And whether that's a concern. I wonder.
Oh yeah, it's a concern. So my proposal is to send this data to BigQuery to control costs. Obviously, it's not been a huge thing for us to take care of in the last 2 years because we've got issues going back that far regarding nginx as a whole. So my goal, I'm separating the logs into two places. So logs that are considered access logs. So you make a request to a web server. We log that data. I'm going to send that to BigQuery, just like we do with HA proxy. Because the volume of HA proxy logs will be similar with the nginx volume. So since we don't search through either of those very often, I figured BigQuery would be a safe place to store them. And the bucket would store it for 30 days, just like we do with HA proxy logs as is. The other set of logs is anything that is kind of like an error message coming out of our ingress controllers. So this is being separated out via the use of what Kubernetes has for looking at log data. So there's standard out and standard error outputs for logging. So standard out contains all the access logs. Those will get sent to BigQuery. And then my proposal for anything that's going to standard out will be sent to Stackdriver. That way it's easily searchable among the rest of our pod logs. The amount of errors that we receive so far looks pretty minimal. I did only look at pre-prod for one, so that might be significantly different when we push this into staging of production. But I figured I'd start with getting the proposal out there and see what people think. So yeah, Jarv, thanks for joining. Look at my nginx request. He's not paying attention.
I heard you. I saw this. I
saw
this.
I saw this. Polite face back on.
Yeah, I saw this before. So just so I understand, you're doing a sync. So we don't want to use Fluent for this. Well, we don't want to use our own Fluent for this.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to do that.
Mm.
Unless you think so. I think it's easier for us to configure this via the syncs because we have the ability to pluck, like the filtering allows us to just take what we want and push it to different locations. The only thing that gets left behind in this proposal is our current web virtual machines, but I figured that's not a huge issue since we're on the cusp of trying to get that merged over into Kubernetes anyways.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Would it be worth running this past? I can ping Ken on this and get the observability team, just see what their thoughts are.
Shortly before this meeting, I signed this merge request to Jarvan, Igor for review.
Perfect. Okay, great.
I was hoping overnight I would get someone to comment on it, but that's fine.
Someone. Okay.
Well, I did ping. Well, I didn't ping anyone. It was more like a broadcast message to the infrastructure team as well as the observability channels in Slack, just to get some visibility on it, because it is a lot of log volume, and I don't know how much it's going to cost, but I think having it in a place where we could at least see the logs is beneficial in the case we need to troubleshoot something.
Why? I mean, I know we have a process for importing data into BigQuery from object storage. Why wouldn't we do the same thing for nginx, or why don't we do this for HA proxy?
I'm mimicking how we currently do HA proxy.
I thought we imported the BigQuery from object storage. Do we go direct to BigQuery now?
I thought it was directly to BigQuery. Let me check really quick. None of this is in Terraform, so it's not something we could easily look at until we go to the sinks in.
So you think there's a manual, someone manually created a sync to put HA proxy?
That's my suspicion, yes.
Oh, that's possible. I mean, we should put that in Terraform too. If there's...
Yep. Logging router.
Yeah, because the last time I did the runbook for this, it was I thought I was importing from object storage.
No, HA proxy logs go directly to BigQuery.
Okay, so it was for another component that I was looking at. I was looking for like longer retention.
Yeah, that might be the case. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another place where HA proxy logs go to, because the only thing I see a sync for is anything for the HA underscore proxy or HA's proxy underscore logs.
Yeah, no. I know. I the last time I did this,
The
it was
name.
like for like workhorse or something. It wasn't for HA proxy,
Okay.
but I had to import it from object storage. So maybe HA
Gotcha.
proxy we're doing enough that it's going directly in. I mean, I don't know. Like, we need to figure out. Can we do an estimate like how much this costs us for HA proxy, and then we can from that kind of get a roundabout estimate for how much it's going to
Okay.
cost for nginx. I assume they're going to be approximately the same.
Yeah, I imagine the volume's going to be very similar with those.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can't figure out how to estimate cost for that. I could do that.
Because this could be useful for like all of our logs if it's not that expensive, but maybe it is. But if it's not, then maybe all of our logs should go direct into BigQuery data sets, and that way
It'd be
you
great
don't
for
have to do.
long-term retention.
Yeah, or just for I mean, I think
Longer than 7 days.
Yeah, for 30 days, I think it would be very useful. We have this problem right now with Kubernetes, right, where the sync to object storage is just going into this like file called standard out and standard error, right? Because it uses the log name as the key. So I think the plan was to use pubsub to log to object storage instead of going through these syncs. Any case. Cool.
But outside of logging, I'm going to pair with Andrew tomorrow to see if I can't figure out how to get some charts going for console and nginx. Console was missing some metadata, so I'm currently working on upgrading our console release so it includes that new metadata. I've had to do a chart upgrade to accomplish that task. So I'll be creating the merge request for staging and production today for that one. So that's kind of what I'm working on.
Awesome. Sounds
I don't
good.
really have anything to demo.
How is the API tuning?
Oh, I finished that up. I'm not going to work on it anymore. So I guess I could review the end result though.
Yeah, it'd be good to. It'd be good to see. Did we manage to get it back kind of close to where we wanted it to be?
Close to where we wanted during times of low traffic. Oh, I need to update our larger epic. But when we're during higher load times, we're still a little overboard. But I think based on the results out of tuning things in a manual fashion, I don't think we could adjust it any further without changing node types, because otherwise we start getting saturation in other key areas, which is kind of dangerous. Where is that issue? Goodness, that took me way too long to find.
Sure.
Okay, so I'll share my screen in a second. I'm just waiting for the images to load. Okay, share. So we did okay with tuning. You can see where we started for nginx. We were maxed out. Like, we configured our HPA to max out at 100 pods, and once we started sending traffic to the API, the nginx ingress immediately went up to its maximum availability or maximum count of pods. And Jarv actually did the tuning for this one, where we just adjusted the HPA and we got it to where it's a much better spot. So, like, I think I documented how many. I hate this interface. No. I get to wait for them to load again. This is great. So now we're running, let's see, instead of running 100, we're ranging between 16 and 25 pods, which I think is perfectly fine. In nodes, we were originally at, oh, looks like we're about the same for the default nodes, which is a little strange, but I didn't look into that. I focused more on the API. The API, we saw a tremendous improvement. So when we first enabled the API, we set our minimum to 48, which would have kind of equaled out to the number of workers that we were running inside of when we're running on virtual machines. And when we first enabled traffic, we were running between 50 and 60 pods in each zone, which was around 840 workers, assuming 80 pods, which is 30% more than we were running on VM. So not a terrible amount, but the amount of nodes was tremendously higher. So upwards of 45 nodes per zone. At the end of tweaking, we got it down to running, we set the minimum down to 25, and now during low traffic periods, we're running at 27 pods consistently during those periods of time. So we can't go below 25, which is fine. And during times of high periods, we're seeing upwards of 45 pods. This is still 810 workers, which is about 30% more, just shy of 30% more than what we were running on virtual machines. But as we know, we were already under provision on the API service just a wee bit. So I think that's fine. Our node pools vary between 14 and 25 nodes. So it's a significant drop versus the 45 nodes we were seeing. So so at low traffic times, this is right around where we wanted to be in the first place. But during high traffic periods, we're seeing 50% more nodes than we did when we were on virtual machines. Artifact of scaling, because we didn't have that in the past, but this is also compounded by the fact that due to scheduling, we simply can't fit an extra pod onto a node. I think if we wanted to go down the route of lowering the amount of nodes any further, we have to switch instance types. Which we may want to explore, but we also have a backlogged item where we want to explore node taints, which would help us do more fun things with spreading where pods live and such in a more effective manner. So I don't think it's worth continuing try to improve this any further than we currently did. So while I don't think we completely reached our goal of getting down to, say, 20% higher than what we were running on virtual machines, I do think we're in a much better state than what we were running when we first enabled the API service.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. That looks good. I'm kind of imagining that once we come through the web migration, that will be a great time that we can do all the taints work, and web's surely going to have similar tuning issues. So
yeah,
we can do them both. Awesome. Great stuff
I
getting
did
to that
try
point.
to figure out how to verbalize the work that we've done in a way. Like, yeah, I considered trying to figure out a way to do a blog post, but like, I don't know what to say. So I'm kind of opting not to do that.
What about as a first iteration, just how about creating an issue which has kind of pointers that we can then use when we tune the web fleet?
I could do that.
And then we can iterate on that and see, like, because hopefully that will help us work out what stuff is reusable.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's great stuff that we've got that API stuff fully closed out. One thing I would like us to do, so I'm wondering, and it's good that you're here, Jav, because I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. There was an incident recently, maybe this week, might be last week, and there was a discussion on Slack going on about whether API was running on Kubernetes or VMs, and there was some uncertainty about where we were up to on the migration, like whether Webfleet was expected or API. So at this point, now that we've just wrapped up API, where should we be maintaining, or are we already maintaining a place that Engineer on Calls could look to actually answer that question?
The question of, are we running on Kubernetes or are we running on VMs?
Yes.
Was Sid's tweet not enough of a notification?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think
Clearly not.
you can only. I mean, I think people aren't 100% sure of anything. I like to think that everyone was at least like 80% sure we were running in Kubernetes for API, but
yeah, no, I don't mean like no one has a micro, but what's a quick reference point that we could give engineers on call that we can just now go and say, like, hey, API is fully wrapped up and here's what is indicating that?
Our service catalog has a small entry as to where things are deployed, but it's kind of obscure. Like it either says GCP or it says GKE, I think, or it might say Kubernetes. I can't remember.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, John.
And we do have to keep that up to date because once we turn down the virtual machines, we want to remove all the extra dashboards and panels and alerts associated with those nodes from our runbooks, dashboards and alerts and such. So once we turn down those nodes, we update the service catalog a little bit, but that's not a definitive answer, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I would say mid-incident, no one's going to be looking at the service catalog
Precisely.
Get this information. I would say I have multiple thoughts here. One is to get every manager to put it in their like one-on-one document with every report. So that's one option.
Well, actually, it's relatively easy on reliability, right? Because there's the newsletter. Because I was going to say, like, we can target the reliability teams. That still happens, right? There's still the weekly newsletter.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that too, but I mean, the problem is like not everyone's going to read it. One idea would be to in the on the dashboard itself, and maybe Scarbeck, tell me what you think about this, is like we could put like, maybe we can change this title to like in parentheses, put like Kubernetes, so that when they go to the API service, like it says Kubernetes there. If that's easy for us to add, then I think that would be the most prominent place that they would see it, like during an incident, because this is what you look at, like if you had an API problem. So that's one option, and you could even for for the web service, we could put like, not yet. like or like VMs/Kubernetes or like, but yeah, we could that would be the best
Yeah,
place
that's a good idea.
for incident. But other than that, I think the other places we mentioned would be fine.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, that dashboard was a great idea. Yeah, because not expecting everyone to like literally hold all this stuff in their heads, but that seems like a question which we should be able to answer fairly straightforwardly. Cool. Cool. And then just on the, you'll see it in the APAC demo, but just to kind of say heads up, is a new web blocker, web migration blocker that is in progress of being looked at. It's probably not a quick fix. So I've kind of mentioned that depending on what comes up with that, we may not want to push the web migration onto like staging, maybe, certainly not Canary, depending on how long we think this thing might take to resolve. If that's the case, then obviously we have lots of other work. So if we finish off all the observability stuff that we want to do, we could do the Helm upgrade, we could do the pages migration, and we can just reorder things if we need to. But hopefully we'll get an answer.
I think from my perspective, I would hold off on the pages migration till web is done, just so that we don't have too many things in progress. Well, I know Henry's out.
I meant, sorry, like if we have to pause on the web stuff because of this blocker.
Yeah, okay.
But
we also have other stuff like the readiness reviews for various things need to be completed as well. So we've got plenty of other crap we could work on. But alternatively, if it's going to take a long time, if we could figure out where those files get written to inside of our Kubernetes infrastructure, we can make an empty dir volume specifically for the web service and just create a cap. And if we exceed that disk space limit, Kubernetes will destroy the pod.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
It's an option. That will prevent us from being blocked.
Yeah, how
don't
hacky
want to do
is
that, but
yeah, how
it's not hacky at all. We do this for Sidekick already.
Okay.
Because of something that gets written to disk somewhere. I forget which worker it is that we have an empty dir volume for. Our Helm chart allows this configuration. I guess I'd have to double check to make sure the web services allow this, but I know Sidekick allows us to mount a random extra directory.
Okay. All right. That might be worth us having a look at in parallel. So I'm hoping to hear back from package team and say we've got the multi-large working group helping to get this work prioritized. So we'll see what comes back on that one. But if we need to, like, we've obviously got lots of other stuff we can do as well. So. And Henry's back next week, and I chatted to him before he went away about finishing off those saturation metrics and actually rolling out the the sort of retuning that needs to happen in order to enable all of those alerts. So I'm intending to get him focused on that next week. So hopefully we'll get all of those dashboards as well. There was actually one thing in the observability epic. There was, before Henry went away, he did leave an MR which I'm wondering, I know Andrew hasn't got to, but I don't know if it has to only be Andrew. So let's look. So that MR 3667, I don't know, does anyone feel that they could have a look, like be able to look at that? If not, I'll ping Andrew.
Oh yeah, I think you and Henry were talking about this in last week's demo. The one worry I have about this particular set of dashboards is it's based on the node pool, and I don't know when we'll pull the work, but if we decide to pull the work related to node taints, that's going to change what node pulls are run and what workloads go on what node pulls. I don't know how beneficial this would be long term, but certainly short term, I'll gladly take a look at this merge request. I
Okay,
think that's my
awesome.
only concern I have for it, but
Yeah, no, it's a really good point, and I guess it kind of indicates as well that we should get these up, like we should get an iteration of these up, so to help us with the web stuff. But yeah, maybe they don't have to be like a great iteration, because I do want to try and do that taint stuff quite soon. I think, you know, we've talked about it quite a lot, so it'd be good to prioritize that.
Davis would be happy if we were to wipe that work out too, but I bet.
Yes. Yes, that's true. Awesome.
But yeah, I'll take a look at this.
Awesome. Thanks, Garbek. Was there anything else anyone wants to discuss, or demo or question?
I don't think so.
Yep. Okay, awesome. Nice. Thank you for the demo and discussions, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Wednesday. Speak to you soon.
Thank you much. Have a good one.
Bye.